For millions of car lovers around the world, the BMW M3 is the ultimate expression of driving nirvana. Over 30 years, 5 generations, multiple racing victories and an assortment of engine configurations, it's been BMW's most successful halo car, combining power, balance, refinement and fun into arguably an unrivaled package. This video, something I've dreamed about doing for years, brings all generations together in what can only be described as undiluted M3 indulgence. Of course, the aim here is to explore each car's pros and cons, the progress that's been made through the generations, and to show you that yes, M3s still love to burn rubber. But before we look into the geography of automotive cloud formation, I jumped into the E30 M3.
And this is the very first time that I have driven an E30 M3. I used to own an E30 325i Coupe. That was very lovely, but nothing on this. You all know what the E30 M3 is about. It shared very few body panels with the original E30 Coupe, namely being the bonnet, the roof, the sunroof, and the door panels as well. Everything else for the E30 M3 was completely new. Suspension, gearbox. I've got a 5-speed Getrag gearbox here, dogleg as well, so that takes a bit of getting used to. But when you are used to it, into fourth being fifth, that feels really weird. And then into sixth, which is actually fifth. That's third. The E30 M3 dominated touring car championships in the 1980s, clearing up with multiple titles, which is why limited edition models such as this Roberto Ravaglia were made. Only 25 units of this very car made it to the UK. So a very rare car indeed. Power, we've got 215 brake horsepower from the inline 4-cylinder 2.3 engine. Doesn't really make it go very quickly. This is foot flat to the floor. Not a lot's happening. And that's despite this car weighing around 1,200 kilograms. So, if you're thinking that this car is going to be super fast, you'd be mistaken. But don't forget, the E30 M3 wasn't about the engine, wasn't all about the power. This car was about handling, it was about feel, it was about grip. And this is what this car has got buckets of. So inside the cabin, it's pretty much just like any other E30, really. There's not much to differentiate it, except for the lovely seats, and I've got M badges on the dash there. I'm forever having to look down to make sure I'm in the right gear. Currently I'm in third. If I put it into what I think would be fifth, there we go, I'm in fourth now. Engine and exhaust noise, not really getting a lot of that at all. It just, I mean, it sounds like a 4-cylinder, there's no way around it. This car is all about handling and dynamics. That's what it's about. It's also about looking damn sexy. And I don't know about you, but this is by far the sexiest car in this video.
The saying goes that you should never meet your heroes because of the possibility of shattered expectations. I went into the E30 M3 with this sentiment in mind, but even so, I was left a little bit disappointed. The car didn't feel as keen to pull as hard as I was hoping for, and it wasn't as special to drive as I was expecting. Okay, so back in its day, the E30 M3 would have been considered a great thing, but today, it just didn't give me the fizz. Next up, we're winding the clocks forward to between 1992 and 1999 for the E36 generation M3.
Welcome to the second 3 series to carry the M3 name. This is it, the E36 M3, and this particular car, belonging to a lovely chap called Alex Gassman, is a saloon version. Yes, they made a saloon version of the E36 M3. They obviously made the coupe and the convertible. There are a few changes that have been made to this particular car, namely it's got a short shifter which is vibrating a little bit. It's got Eibach springs and also genuine Alpina wheels. The rest of the car, completely standard. So this is the first M3 of many to feature a straight 6 engine. We've got 316 brake horsepower, which is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. The earlier E36 M3s came with a 5-speed, but in 1995 or thereabouts, they were upgraded. The engine was enlarged to 3.2 from 3 litres, and you also got this beautiful 6-speeder. Now these engines feature something called Vanos, and if you don't know what Vanos is, think of it a little bit like VTEC. When you get above 5,000 RPM, the cam profile changes, and then the power comes in. Yes! 0 to 60 in this, roughly 6 seconds. This is more of a kind of luxury car. I've got computers, I've got more leather. It just feels more expensive, really. This was a grand touring car. It wasn't quite so focused on dynamics and handling as the E30 was. This car was more about the engine. Now I'm currently looking to buy an E36 M3, and driving this has pretty much, it's pretty much sealed the deal in my mind. Oh yes, plant it, and then you've got the power. You've got to have your foot flat to the floor, and you've got to be above 4,500 RPM to really get the most out of this engine. When you do, you really notice that surge from the Vanos. Yes, this is much better. Prices for these at the moment range from anywhere between about £5,000 to about £18,000 for a really low mileage model. I'm looking for something that's fairly average condition, so I'd be looking to spend anywhere between £7,000 and £9,000. The E36 M3 for me is obviously a massive step up compared with the E30. It's got more power, it feels more refined, but it feels less of an M3 for me. It feels like BMW has tried to make the E36 a car for everybody.
The E36 feels heavy, solid and slightly strangled down in the 6-cylinder rev range. Only when you wind the engine up into Vanos territory does it start to make me think, that's why it's got an M3 badge on the back. The gearbox, pedal and steering weights also feel heavier than the E30, which means that you have to work more for every ounce of performance. Now it's onto the E46 M3, which was produced between 2000 and 2006. Quite how good this car would be, I wasn't prepared for.
And this is a very special car to my heart because it belongs to my boss, Adnan. Now I've been told in no uncertain terms to look after the car, don't be stupid, just do what you got to do and then get the hell out of the car. He is approximately 50 meters away, so I think should we get started? That's how you pull away from your boss. So the first thing you notice about the E46 M3, it feels alive. Compared to the E36, no offense to the E36 M3, this is a completely different car. The step up in generations is monumental. I mean, if the step up from the E30 to the E36 was a big jump, this from the E36 to the E46 was a leap. It really was. Oh, it sounds better, it goes better, it feels better. Less wind noise, less tyre roar. This is a proper M car. This is a real M3 to me. I wanted to buy an E36 M3. Now I'm thinking, actually, maybe I need one of these. Oh, this is so much better. I can't believe how much better this is. This is a heavier car, but it feels like it's so much lighter. This, as I said, it feels alive, it feels nimble. The steering is so much more quick, so much more direct. Wow. We've got straight six, 3.2 litres, 338 brake horsepower, and 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.8 seconds. Now for a kind of 2003, 2004 car, 4.8 seconds in a BMW M3, that's mental.
The E46 M3 feels like an unshackled beast. From its free revving engine, tighter chassis, fast steering and general boisterousness, I now understand why people rave about this car so much.
I mean, to me, the E30 is going to be the pinnacle in terms of looks, but in terms of feel, this is just a step up. And prices for these cars, the E46s, are very similar to those of the E36. I literally am in a glass case of emotion right now. I like the E36 because appreciation. I think it might gain in value a little bit more quickly. But as a driver's car, this has got the E36 over a barrel, and it is spanking it. Spank, 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 spank with each of those exhaust pipes. It's really going in hard. This car is all about dynamics, and it is all about the engine. There really is no kind of centerpiece, whereas with the E36, it's all about the engine, and with the E30, all about the dynamics. But this is the complete package. Adnan, I don't want to buy your car because I've seen how you drive it, but I do want to buy one very, very similar.
From 6 cylinders, let's jump into the E92 V8 to see what the years 2007 to 2013 brought to the M3.
Now the biggest change for the E90, E92 version of the M3 was up front, because we've got a V8, 4 litre V8 in this. Oh, and it sounds glorious. Wow, and it's fast. The experience in the E92, because I've got the coupe, is completely dominated by the V8. It sounds amazing. Oh yes. I thought the E46 sounded good, but this is on a completely new level. Obviously because V8. Now this car came as standard with a 6-speed manual gearbox, but this has got the optioned up version of the 7-speed MDCT gearbox, which makes shifting a lot quicker than with the manual. Right, I'll go through the gears for you. Starting in 5th gear, I'm in 5th gear now, doing 45 miles an hour. 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And then foot flat to the floor. Whoa, it pulls. It pulls. This is one hell of a fast car. Now delimited, obviously all BMWs are kind of limited to 155, but if you took that off, this car would do 178 miles an hour. 178! 0 to 60 times on this. Approximately 4.8 seconds according to BMW, but some people have managed to get 3.9 seconds out of this car, obviously with the MDCT gearbox. The interior again, super luxurious, loads of leather, loads of buttons. Yeah, so if the E46 was a massive leap over the E36, this compared to the E46 is, you know, it's a bit of a hop and a skip. I mean, that's not considering that 4 litre V8 engine, which pumps out 414 brake horsepower. I'm in love with this car again. We've got a big brake upgrade on this car, so it does stop extremely well. The way that this car picks up speed and it just keeps on going boggles the mind. From 60 to 100 miles an hour like that. And it doesn't feel that fast. Thank you very much, Mike, for lending us your car today for this epic 5 generations M3 shoot. This is certainly a car I will not forget, and an experience today that is etched on my memory. Turning is tight, steering is beautiful, feelsome, and it's so rapid. Yeah, good job BMW. I just want to drive this round and round and round and round and round all day. I mean, Mike, the owner's got a baby seat in the back. That kind of tells you enough. One car for all purposes. This is a seriously, seriously impressive car. It's just a shame they don't make them with V8s anymore.
The V8 car is truly modern, refined, smooth and usable. It's the car for every occasion, from shop hopping to motorway destroying. There's nothing that this thing can't do brilliantly. This includes drinking through fuel at an alarming rate of early teen figures. It is, however, more clinical than the E46 and seems to have lost some of its no damns given personality, but its engine will go down in M3 history as one of the best I've ever driven. Finally, it's the turn of the F80 M3 with its twin turbocharged straight six and unapologetic power and performance.
This is the F80 generation of the M3. This is the newest M3, and it marks a significant step, a significant change from any other M3 that's been. The reason? Twin turbocharged. This is the first time that turbochargers have ever been used, but it definitely won't be the last. The power we're getting from this mighty engine is also pretty astonishing. 425 brake horsepower and 403 pound-foot of torque. That torque figure is interestingly 38% more than you got in the naturally aspirated V8, the car that I just drove. 38%. The way that this car just goes through the gears is astonishing. I mean, it's blink and you'll miss it performance. Super, super fast, super agile. Now, a lot of focus has been made to make this car as light as possible, which is why carbon fibre has been used quite a lot. You'll find a carbon fibre roof, drive shaft, and also the engine strut is carbon fibre, just to make sure that the M3 is as light as possible and agile as possible. It's worked because, yeah, performance is, let's say, brisk. 0 to 62 takes 4.1 seconds. And top speed limited obviously to 155 miles an hour. I reckon you'd probably be good for around 185 miles an hour if you take the limiter off. It's a weapon. It's a weapon of mass awesomeness. But I thought the E92 was quick. Nah, it's got nothing on this. But the way that it just goes through the revs and the way that it just accelerates through the gears, it's astonishing. I haven't driven one of these cars for a while now, and yeah, it shocked me how fast this is. Woo! Steering feel not as good as the E46 or E92, I will say. Electric power steering rack in this, obviously. This car looks insane. The performance is absolutely monumental. And it's easy to drive when you know the limitations of yourself, because if you push yourself too hard, then the back end will kick out very, very quickly. Just like the E92, we've got a DCT gearbox, 7 speeds, and again, beautiful shifts, even faster than the E92, obviously because it's an updated version. Super quick. Not many sales going to manual cars, obviously. Oh.
In normal driving, the M3 is your friend because it slips through its gears smoothly, cocoons you in leather and comfort, and keeps you safe. But flick a few buttons to change the damper settings, gearbox aggression and steering sharpness, and you've got an unhinged super saloon that will repeatedly try to kill you and your family if you're not paying complete attention. To the average driver, it's scary and unpredictable, but to the initiated, it's a beast that quickly teaches you not to take liberties with £55,000 worth of metal.
I love driving this thing, but you know, with modern cars, I've said this time and time again, they drive themselves. You can be a bit of a buffoon and drive this fairly quickly. Obviously watch for the snap oversteer. But if you're a reasonable driver, then you can get a lot of performance out of this. With the generations before, you've really got to be on it.
Each generation of BMW M3 represents a milestone. From the E30 that introduced the world to a super coupe, the E36 injected the M3 formula with auto barnstorming potential and refinement. The E46 then came along, added some serious gunpowder into the mix, which was followed by the V8 E92 that proved yes, you can have it all. Then, downsizing reared its ugly head and brought the cylinder count down back to 6, while the power and performance levels were dialed up to an unholy 11. Yes, the M3 has evolved, and yes, since filming I've bought my very own E36 M3. But for me, the standout car was undoubtedly the E46. It didn't only raise the bar, it completely revolutionised the M3 game and used the aforementioned bar as a beating stick to smash the hell out of its competition.